Hi friends, and welcome to a new year. Starting today, I'll be helping you create healthy habits and positive changes in all areas of your life. We start with asking what it means to be fully alive and reclaiming your heart. Then my son and I are helping you meal plan and creating a delicious Asian cucumber dish together. We'll also learn how to get healthy at home without any special equipment and redefine your mindset. Finally, I'll walk you through my top healthy money habits so you can save and give more starting now. So clear your mind, set aside anything competing for your attention, and tell yourself today is the day change begins, because this is the Sami Cone Show.
From the NewsChannel 5 network, this is the Sami Cone Show.
If you're ready to take back the abundant life God has for you, you're going to want to pay attention to my next guest. Denise Hildreth-Jones is the author of Reclaiming Your Heart. Denise, I'm so excited to have you in studio. Welcome.
Thank you, Sami. It's so good to be with you.
You know, I feel like we're just sitting at Starbucks, so we're just going to act like that.
Sounds good.
This book has been really revolutionary to me. My counselor actually recommended this to me during a really difficult season in my life. But for people that don't know, what does it mean to reclaim your heart?
Well, that's a great question.
Thank you. I figured you'd be the one to ask.
Well, you know, it's been a challenging season for all of us.
Right.
And it was as if life as we knew it came crashing down in one fell swoop, and everything stopped.
Yeah.
And when it did, our hearts moved somewhere. Some of us moved to fear. Some of us moved to disappointment or anger or control. How can I grab a hold of this situation?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yes, neither.
Not me.
No.
Some people.
Yes,
some people. Yes.
Some of those people. And it's not. The issue is never where our hearts go in a moment, because fear is normal, anger is normal. It's where do our hearts land? And I, like you, walked through a painful divorce, and before I was married, fear was kind of my go-to. I could go to fear quickly, but during my marriage, fear became my funnel. And so all of my decision making, my conversations, even down to the way I wore my hair, was funneled through fear. So whenever you and I begin to allow our disappointment or our shame or our anger or our criticalness or our performance become our funnel, that's when a piece of our heart has shut down. And we need to realize that whenever a piece of our heart shuts down, something is always lost.
Wow, we could stop there, but let me tell you, because you talk about a lot of different hearts in this book, right?
Yes.
And there's one, I think it's in chapter 5, you talk about the performing heart, which I already knew was going to be, I already knew, like, I'm going to have a hard time with this one. But I took twice as many notes in chapter 12 on the fearful heart than I did on any other chapter. And I didn't recognize it, because you say fear is a thief, and you call it a gateway sin.
Yes.
And so, like you said, how can we just talk a little bit more, because this year has been so hard?
Sure.
On top of whatever loss, grief people are experiencing, how can we experience a normal amount, right? We don't want to shame ourselves, like you were saying, but move through that and not be trapped by it.
Yes, it's so true, because this has been a fearful season.
Yeah.
We've walked through things we've never even dreamed of walking through. So it's important to realize that fear is a normal emotion, but it's when we land there, it's when our thoughts are consumed with the what ifs, and the thief is a master at projecting us into the future with pain. So John 10:10 says the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And that passage is progressive. So he doesn't start with destruction. He doesn't start with destroying your marriage. He starts with stealing something from your marriage. He doesn't start with destroying your dream. He starts with stealing something from your vision. And as we allow him to steal, because at every place and space, you and I are making a conscious decision of what we're going to hand over to him.
That's powerful. We have just a minute left. You talk about the 4 R's of an abundant life. I want to help people move from fear to abundance. What can you just quickly touch on those?
Sure. 1, recognize. You cannot change what you will not acknowledge is there. Second, as a believer, you have to repent. You have to say, Lord, I don't want this in my life, and I hand it over to you. I surrender it to you. Third, you have to reflect on the truth of God's word. You can never combat a lie until you know what's true. And fourth, it's relationships. It's having something like this where you and I can sit over at the Cheesecake Factory and talk about what it means to reclaim your heart, because we have a shared story.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
There's so much more we could talk about. I really encourage you to pick up Reclaiming Your Heart. Denise, where else can people find out more about you and your Monday morning musings?
Sure, you can go to reclaiminghearts.org or denisehildrethjones.com.
Fantastic. Thank you. We'll link to that on the bottom of the screen, and make sure that you take time to find great friends, great mentors, whether it's in person, through books, however you need to this year. Thank you, Denise.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm back in the kitchen with one of the most requested guests from last year. That's right, I am cooking with my son and teen chef, Britton Cone. Welcome back to the Sami Cone Show.
Thank you.
I have to tell us, we were actually in the clearance section of Walmart right after Christmas, and someone came up to me and said, "Excuse me, are you Sami Cone?" And I said, "Yes." She goes, "Oh, I love your show." And then she immediately turned to Britton and was like, "I loved your recipe." And I never heard from her again. It was all Britton. So here you go. We know who you really tune in to see. So this is another recipe, his marinated Asian cucumber salad, that has been really requested because I share about it a lot on social media because we eat it a lot. Right? So you're going to show us how to do it. Really easy. So what are you doing right now?
Yeah, so first I'm just cutting up the cucumber into bite-sized pieces.
Okay.
Because you want the cucumber easy to eat as like an appetizer, a little side thing to go along with your dish.
And you cut it lengthwise, so that's important. And we usually suggest an English cucumber because they're seedless. But if you don't have a seedless cucumber, you can stop at this juncture and take a spoon and just scoop out the center of it if you want to take your seeds out. So that's really easy. But if not, you can just go ahead and cut it the way that Britton is cutting it right now.
So about in the fourths, and then you take the fourths and cut it into other bite-sized pieces.
I'll let you do this one as well.
Thank you.
So while you do that, I'm gonna move this over with the clean hands here. Okay. So the important part is to get this cut up, and then we're gonna technically marinate it with kosher salt for theoretically, I mean, as long as you can. I'll be honest, one of the reasons I wanted to highlight this recipe now is because it sits really well in the fridge, and it's a recipe that gets better the longer that it sits in the dressing we're gonna make. We never let it sit. We pretty much finish it off the minute he makes it, is really what ends up happening. So here, let me just do it this way. This will be easier. So we put all of these in a bowl, and again, marinate it as long as you can with how much kosher salt would you say, dude?
Heavily. So a good amount, probably about tablespoon-ish.
Does that work? Tablespoon-ish? Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna let that sit there and just set it off to the side, and this can be in the bowl that you're gonna put the dressing in later.
Right.
And if there was extra, sometimes when you marinate something in salt, you'll get extra juice, so to speak, but you can just drain that off.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've put
I've put 2 to 3 cloves of garlic in a separate bowl.
Okay, that you minced already.
Right, and we're gonna add another teaspoon of sugar.
Okay, and the sugar just helps balance the acidity. It kind of gives you that umami flavor, but it is Asian after all. Okay, what's next?
And now we have rice vinegar that we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of.
Okay. And you can get rice vinegar, again, if it's really easy to get at any grocery store, obviously a World Market or an Asian grocery store. Okay.
And we're just gonna add a little bit of black pepper.
Okay.
If you don't have a grinder, just like about a pinch would be good. Now we have 2 tablespoons of soy sauce.
And if you are doing gluten-free this year, you can use tamari, which is a gluten-free soy sauce. And this is real, I mean, this isn't real complicated, right? This is
very simple. And then to finish it off, we have some sesame oil that we're gonna add about 2 teaspoons of.
I love it. Get toasted sesame oil if you can. Okay.
And just add a little bit of spice. We have some sriracha.
Yes, we do. And we're not super spicy people, but giving it that just squirt of sriracha really helps give it a little kick. That makes it really good.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're mixing that up?
Yep. If you don't want to dirty another dish, you can just use a teaspoon.
And then here's where the magic happens. Voila. And that's really all that it is. So why don't you use that teaspoon just to, since we don't have a serving spoon here, mix it up. But this is, so this, we made this salad yesterday, so it's been sitting for a day, and really, I mean, that's all that it is. You can see that the soy sauce and the sesame oil and the sriracha really come together. This is actually 2 cucumbers because this does make quite a bit of dressing. This is great for fish as well. It's really a good accompaniment, but that's as easy as it is. And I think we just wanted to say, when you're meal planning, look for things that your kids, your family is already eating, and then just try to expand upon that. You don't have to just go with cucumber sticks and carrot sticks.
Right.
Make better choices, and you can still add some really healthy components to this. We got a rotisserie chicken from Costco yesterday. You have that for dinner. You make a chicken salad the next day, have this with it.
Yeah, vegetables don't have to be boring. You can make them good.
Vegetables don't have to be boring. You heard it here first. All right, we're going to have this full recipe on SamiCone.com. Britton Cone, thanks for joining me.
It's always a pleasure.
Okay, we'll see you soon in the kitchen. Good job. It's a new year, we all have health goals, but again, how are we going to accomplish those if we can't leave our house? I brought in one of the experts, Derek Phillips Jr., City Fit Live. How are you in the house?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me on your show today. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. Well, you're in my house now.
Yeah, it's your house. It's your house.
But we're going to show everyone in their house how they can not just get fit today, because that's really what I wanted to communicate to everyone is how can we make lasting change happen? So can you talk to us about some of the literal things that we can do with our body?
Absolutely.
But I want everyone to stay tuned because we're going to talk about the mindset, because that's the key, right? Am I preaching?
Key. That's the key. That's the foundation.
Okay.
You are preaching.
Okay, so where should we start?
So
Number
we
one.
should start as far as if you're working on your body, as soon as you get, whether you're in your apartment, your home, a hotel, wherever you're at, you always want to start with warming the body up. So we're going to start with a little upper body warm up, which is just arm circles. It's super light. And I'm going to turn towards you so I don't hit you. I got some long basketball arms.
You do have some.
So just, So you want to start everything 10. Keep it simple. 10 arm circles forward, then you got 10 arm circles backwards. Right after that, warming the shoulders up, warming the arms. And then a lot of you guys, when you first wake up, your back tight, core tight. Right here, just some waist rotations. Back and forth. You want about 10 of those as well. Just loosening the core up, making sure the lower back is loose right here. And then give yourself some neck circles as well. It's a lot of us neglect the neck area. We sleep on one side. We keep it turned in one direction all day. Right here in 3.
Isn't this good to do like throughout the day as
1.
well?
Hold on, don't get too dizzy on this. That's perfect. That's perfect. That's a couple upper body warm-ups, guys. From that, you want to warm the body up, and then we're going to do a deep stretch right here. So I'm going to have her go straight down, and we're going to do a hamstring stretch and really work the back of those legs and just reach straight down. And the reason why I'm starting with stretching, you're going to hold that for about 10 to 15 seconds. Guys, we're starting with stretching because it's key to really make sure that the body is loose and nimble before we have any strenuous activity on it. Hop on up. There you go, hopping up. We're going to do one more stretch. I'm going to show you guys if you need to lean on something or somebody, nothing wrong with that. We're going to do a quad stretch. So first, test your balance and see if you don't need to lean on something. Let's see what you got.
Hang on.
What you got.
I got it. I got it.
If not, we all need somebody to lean on. So you're going to hold each side for about 10 to 15 seconds. Then you're going to switch it up. She's doing a little shorter this time.
Not because I needed to,
just to get them in. So remember, we're going to warm the body up, stretch, and then we're going to go into the workout. And it's going to be a little slower for you guys at home normally, but right now we're just going to move a little faster. So we're going right into a squat. Make sure the heels are a little wider than shoulder width apart, driving the hips back, chest up, down, right back up. You go down where it feels comfortable. Don't go down too deep where you feel knees hurting, anything like that. All right, and I want you to focus on the weight in your heels, driving your hips back, and chest up. Oh yeah, make sure to breathe. All right, we're gonna do 2 more of these. Let's do it.
And when you go slower, I actually feel it more.
You feel that burn a little bit. There
as opposed to just doing it.
Exactly. You're gonna squeeze those abs on the way up as well. So that's one lower body exercise you can do. We're also gonna do a core exercise too. So mixing the squat with that, you want your hands back here. So give me a squat right here. Stand up. Opposite knee, opposite elbow. Squat.
Okay.
Opposite knee, opposite elbow. Go to the other side. There you go. Give me 4 of those. What you got?
Oh,
1.
yeah.
Good. I wish we had some music going right now, right?
I know.
2. Let's go. Come on.
We had to cut back on some things, you know, with the new year, but.
Last one. 4. Excellent, excellent. Now this is what we're going to do. It's something everybody can do. We're going to hold a low plank. We're going to get down on our forearms, right? And on our toes, right down here. And again, if you need a little help, nothing wrong with keeping one knee down during the plank to really kind of just give you a little assistance. But if not, both knees up.
Okay.
Your body in a straight position. You want to squeeze those abs, the glute squeeze, and we're going to hold this for 20 seconds, all right? This is a way for you to really challenge your core. So your lower back, your obliques, and your abs. Anybody can do this, even if you put your knee down. You're going to hold for another 5,
Yeah, I am.
4, 3, see how the slow count, 2, 1, rest. Excellent work.
As long as you didn't catch me shaking there.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, we've got a couple minutes. I want to make sure we talk about the mind that goes into
No, I
all
want to keep
this.
working out. We don't want to talk. Okay, we got to talk about the mind.
We
That's
gotta do
super
something.
important. Let's
Yeah.
chat about it.
Okay.
All right, so for me, understanding your mindset, understanding who you are as a person, why over the course of your life, whether you haven't started, whether you started and stopped, whether you've been scared to work out, whatever it may be, you have to get the mindset right, knowing, okay, this is the reason why I haven't done anything.
Right.
Here's the shift. I'm going to start. I'm going to change my life. Here's when I'm going to start. And if your mind, if you tell yourself, I'm going to do this, that's it. So you have to start with that. You can't just jump into it and just be like, I'm going to work out. If your mind isn't fully committed, your body, everybody around you understanding that that's the new mission for you, then it's not going to work. So start with the shift in the mind and then move into the physical.
I love it. We got to wrap up. There's so much more, and you've got a special offer just for our audience. Tell them about it really quick.
I have a special offer. So you guys are going to get access to 3 weeks of a free fitness challenge put on by CityFit. Cami 21 right here, you guys are going to get access, free access to it if you guys just go to the link, but we want to make sure that you guys have no excuses this year. No days off. Let's do it.
There you go. Sami 21. Make sure you go to cityfitlive.com/challenge. We'll have even more goodies on samicone.com. Thank you so much for joining me, Derek. We'll see you soon.
Thanks for having us.
Save more, earn more, spend less. Easy, right? Well, sometimes it is easier said than done when it comes to managing our money. But have no fear, I'm here to set you off on the right fiscal foot and introduce you to some healthy money habits for 2021. Now, look, let's break this down and keep it really simple. I mean, I know you guys are doing a lot of different things, and the last thing I want to do is add one more thing to your plate that you're feeling like you're going to fail at in a week. So I've created this acronym called RACK. Just think about racking up the money in 2021. And the first one is to review your habits of the past year as well as all of your subscriptions. So this doesn't have to be long, but go ahead and take a look at some of those things that are probably already in your inbox. Your bank sends them, your credit card statements. They kind of break down where your spending is happening over the past year. And sometimes that can be a really big reality check for some of us. You might not think you're spending a lot of money on food, clothes, or even memberships, especially for those of us that have not been leaving the house. But this is the time to really take a step back and see where your money has been going. So R is review. You also want to make sure that you are adjusting your goals for this month. So review for the year, adjust for just this month. Let's not worry about the whole year ahead. What do you want to accomplish in this month? Because that may change. You may have a student that's going off to college. You may be trying to save for a new car. Let's look at what we can do in January and then adjust accordingly. And then finally, I want you to keep track of your receipts for this week. Okay, you got that? So we're reviewing for the year, adjusting for this month, and then keeping track for this week, R-A-K. And all I want you to do is grab an envelope. Look, I've even used envelopes that have been sent to me in the mail, and just write January 2021 on it and keep it in your car, because I find the majority of receipts that I need to keep up with to track that kind of discretionary spending happens when I'm driving somewhere. So keep this in your car, and all I do is I write down some of the things where I have those receipts. So for instance, groceries, eating out, I keep my gas receipts in here, drugstore, Costco, things like that, and I keep my monthly budget at the top of those. And then as I spend them, I put them in the envelope, and then I keep track of how my budget is kind of diminishing for the month. And even if you miss a couple, this is going to give you a really tangible reminder of how you're using your money. Now, you may use an app. I'm a pen and paper kind of girl, so this has worked really well for me. Plus, when my kids see me doing that, I'm instilling habits for them for their future as well. So that's the number one thing that I want you to do if you do nothing else that I say today. But I also want you to keep in mind that you need to start building back your emergency fund. A lot of us have depleted our emergency fund or our savings with everything that's happened this year. And even if it's just $1 a week, I want you to be diligent about putting that money away for you. There's a book I just read called Profit First, and it really flips everything on the head of what we've learned in traditional bookkeeping by making sure that you are taking care of your expenses, but also taking care of yourself. And when we're able to do that, not only is our family secure, we're able to be more generous with friends, family, and even organizations and nonprofits that we care about. So start by doing that, and the easiest way to do that is by setting up an account that's going to pull funds from your paycheck directly. Or you can even set up kind of an ACH so that it goes from that check that comes in into those different accounts. I've done it at a totally different bank this year, so I don't even see it when I log on to my normal bank. I've set up a Christmas fund, I've set up a car fund, an emergency fund, a vacation fund, whatever it is you are saving for that's important to you. Go ahead and set up those buckets and have them automatically withdrawn so you're not being tempted to pull from it, but it's there when you need it. Look, I could go on and on about this. You know it's a passion project of mine, but I want you to do what's going to work for you this week so that you can make a difference this month and end the new year this year in a way different than you did before. Head to SamiCone.com for even more money-saving tips. Before I go, I need you to know to see the new year in a new light. Every new year is a chance for us to reevaluate our goals, our dreams, our habits, our health, our lifestyle. I could go on and on. But in the light of the current state of our world, I'm reminded of how fleeting life can be and how any new goals need to be even more relevant to my day-to-day living, especially when it comes to my kids. Not 1 minute of our lives is guaranteed. Not only do we need to hold our own lives out to God with open hands, but even more so the lives of our children. God's promise is that He will never give us more than we can handle, and He'll be there through it all. I don't have any answers as to why things like COVID, racial injustice, or school shootings happen, but I do know that our God is sovereign and omnipotent. As you begin this new year, perhaps more cautious and guarded than you've begun any other, I would suggest you do two things. One, start each morning by renewing God's promises. And two, believe God has called you to a higher purpose and start acting like it. Regardless of what resolutions you make, promise to God, yourself, and your children that above all, you will love each other deeply because love covers over a multitude of sins. Friends, I want to thank each of you for choosing to start your new year with me. I know you can accomplish great things, and it's my privilege to partner with you as you believe bigger and better things for yourself and your community this year. Have a great day. Make sure you make it great, and do not wait to tell someone you love how you feel about them. Bye, friends.